So, would you like to tell everyone what we watched this week?
Absolutely. We watched Hell is for Heroes, a 1962 American war film directed by Donald Siegel, starring Steve McQueen. It tells the story of a squad of US soldiers from the 95th Infantry Division who in the autumn of 1944 must hold off an entire German company for approximately 48 hours along the Siegfried Line until reinforcements reach them. So do what you will with that.
Black and white, our first black and white film as well we've watched on here.
Yes.
A remarkably late black and white film.
But it works, doesn't it?
But it works.
Has to be like The Longest Day, black and white.
Yeah, true.
Similar feel.
I actually read that this film went so over budget.
Really?
That they ran out of film stock and Paramount refused to pay for any more, which is why it ends so abruptly.
Yeah, it does.
Because they just ran out of film.
That's a lot of film to get through. Because is it a long film? It's not.
Hour and a half. It's not long.
It ain't long, is it?
I'd imagine there was an awful lot on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
It was originally before Sargel came on board as director. It was going to be a black comedy.
Was it?
And I think there are a couple of scenes in particular.
Bob
the one.
Newhart. That's why.
Yeah. Apparently he just wanted to get off the project.
Yeah,
and
he was doing really well though, wasn't he?
He was. He was, and I don't think he was paid much. And he basically thought, "I'll sign up, do some comedy, get killed early, go back to."
He was doing some records to touring, or something, wasn't he?
That's right.
And he was saying,
and basically. Siegel came on, said, "No, I want it to be a dramatic piece,
right?
But I also want you till the end."
Because I read that Bob Newhart was trying on a daily basis
to get
find
killed
ways
off, basically.
to get killed,
yeah.
So he could go and do his other more lucrative stuff.
That's exactly right, yeah. But they wanted him to the end.
Fair enough. It does work though.
It does work.
For the first third of the movie,
there's
there's
definitely some tonal issues with this.
Yeah,
and there is no more frustrating scene, in my opinion, than the one when they find the German bug in the bunker.
Oh, and he's doing the commentary.
And it just takes you out of the misery and intensity of the film.
Yeah, because up until then they've been quite hardly brooding on the
and all of a sudden
death and destruction and
all of a sudden you've got Bobby Darin and Bob Newhart. Sort of hamming it up.
It's almost like a film of two
saying,
halves, isn't it?
we've played the same film for 5 nights.
Yeah,
it just totally takes you out. And then you'll cut to a shot of Steve McQueen looking like he wants to strangle somebody.
Yeah, probably Bob Newhart.
But it's just it
is a weird one. I thought exactly the same. You've got this grit. I mean, it is a gritty war movie.
It is,
and you film it in black and white for that reason. And it's dirty and it's grimy and it's. It's the thing is you get quite sort of intimately. You know these guys pretty well for the first at least half the movie because you hardly see a German helmet.
Yeah,
you never see a German face really. No. And they're out there, outnumbering apparently. But you live and breathe these guys, and you go through the hell and that business where they're all going on holiday, they're all going on leave, and then they say, "No, you're not. You're back on the line." And you, if you're in that room. You almost can feel the tension and the look on their faces of I don't believe it. I just I was on leave a minute ago.
I watched this about 18 months ago.
Right.
And I thought I'd been a bit harsh on it then. And I looked it up on Letterboxd and my comment was that you've got a split between McQueen and Coburn who play it extremely straight, and Newhart and Darin who play it in a sort of a 40s house style. And watching it again, I agree with myself. There's too much difference in the performances, like they've had different briefs. And Steve McQueen is fantastic.
But there's a lot of tension there, and I think we'll cover that later on. Because interestingly, when you mentioned Coburn, I think it's Parker and Coburn in the cast. I mean, they were working on other projects during the making of the film, and the rumour is that they would repeatedly show up in the nick of time to do their lines without makeup, with little or no rehearsal. But it was I mean, it was one of a number of quality support roles that Coburn appeared in around this time. So
yeah, he was breaking
really,
out, wasn't he?
He was. That's exactly it, breaking out.
Obviously, as was McQueen, although he did less work than Coburn, I think.
But McQueen has got that. Coburn's got the presence on the screen as the mechanic and driving the car, and that's because you know him and you recognise him. But McQueen has that strange magnetism. When there's a scene with him in, he's so angry.
Elevates it.
He steals
right
it.
from the start as well.
Every scene he's in, he steals.
He is. Ironically, he made another black and white war film, The War Lover. Same year.
Set in Norfolk.
Same year, where he basically plays the same character, which is the guy that has got obvious issues.
Yeah, big time.
But in the theatre of war is exceptional.
Yeah.
But in that film, his character is written far better, and he's got much more scope to develop it.
Yeah.
I get the impression this was a bit of a disjointed production, and obviously McQueen didn't want to be there. We know that as that's since been basically confirmed as fact.
Yeah.
But his character's not fleshed out enough. We get the scene in the bar before they leave, which sort of gives you a flavour he doesn't play by the rules.
No.
But it's not enough, and it relies on his performance, which is good, to give us the idea of who he is.
Yeah.
But what The War Lover does so well is it writes the character and develops it over the runtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this is, it's got too many. There's too many people in it.
Well, interestingly, it was written by Robert Pirosh. Now, he was a former master sergeant with the 35th Infantry Division in World War II, so he actually had real life experience. And he gained a reputation for writing the script of Battleground. And he won an Oscar for the best story and best screenplay, and that was about the American 101st.
The battle sequences in this are brilliant, I will say.
Yeah, they look very convincing, don't they? And I imagine that's probably why they got through so much film, because you can imagine they had to keep doing it again. Originally, Pirosh was also to have directed and produced the film, but he walked away from the project after trouble with McQueen. So McQueen was being quite antagonistic.
Yeah.
And I think we... and just to finish off that bit about Pirosh, he based some of the events in this film, the battle scenes that we said, on his unit being withdrawn from the... Vosges area to move towards the Battle of the Bulge. So he's actually been there. So he's lived it.
Yeah, he's done it.
And when you see I thought it was the foxholes, crawling through the undergrowth,
all of that
bouncing
is great.
Betty mines, and it looks.
And even the premise. I really like the premise of they've withdrawn a load of a company and they're sort of stranded on their own.
Yeah, 6 of them.
That's brilliant.
And then they move out.
And then 2 frames later, you've got Bobby Darin, doing something totally out of place.
Yeah.
Like the guy that crashes the Jeep full of typewriters.
Yeah, that is
Bob Newhart.
Yeah, because he's like, "Hi guys," and you're thinking, "What was he doing here?"
And then
in fact, they said the same.
They tried to teach him to shoot a rifle, and he nearly shoots McQueen. It's sort of comedic, but the intensity of the scene, it's not meant to be comedic.
It's misplaced, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did they put? I get why they put him in there, because you've got to have all sorts in the military thing, but it was getting into Stalag 17 comedy.
Yeah, really. The tonally, it just really struggles, in my opinion.
It's a bit. It pulls in too many directions, I find.
Yeah, it does.
And apparently, I don't know if you read this, but many of the cast were angry over the studio's budget restrictions, because I know you said and it resulted in phony-looking props. And I was looking for this, and I saw it once in the film. The props were malfunctioning firearms, and same Germans having to be killed 3 or 4 times. And in the last battle scene, you see McQueen. He's got the old M3 grease gun, and it fails. And he looks at it, and he shakes it, and he clips it over. I think apparently it was due to the fact the blanks they were using in the fake guns were just playing up. But people, I don't know, maybe in warfare you do get misfires and people question their guns, so it could argue it adds to the realism, but it was a genuine issue on set that all the props were breaking and they couldn't get them to work. But what I did like was there was a lot of ingenuity when they made the tank, the Jeep sound like a tank, and then they had them rocks in a box on the string.
That's
thing.
good. And then when they make the Jeep into a tank, and then we cut to the Germans pointing to the picture.
Panzer Tiger tank.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's real warlord commando comic stuff, that isn't it? Schnell, ich Tiger tank. And
I got to say,
it didn't sound that much like a tiger. Panzer tank, did it? It sounded like a
Jeep with a misfire.
With a bad exhaust pipe. But although the sound was I think they really had a bit of artistic license on the sound, because this squeaky tank footage out of the Longest Day or something, and they just overdubbed it onto a Jeep driving around with James Caven at the wheel. But I do admire him.
I do like that scene. Yeah,
it's good, and he's loving it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And the scene, obviously, the finale when when McQueen gets shot, and then he kicks the C4 back into the bunker.
Yeah, rolls in, doesn't he?
He grabs it and rolls in,
and then kaboom, and then they burn it. He just says, burn it all, And that's it goes, because you have these weird comedy elements, where they're driving around, and then you get Steve McQueen on a self-destructive, tragic, flawed collision course.
Exactly.
He's a man who's never going to survive this. He's just doomed. And then he first of all he gets shot in the chest. Stands up, walks towards a machine gun implant, gets the bombs, and rolls into the window and explodes.
Exactly.
I mean, what a way to go! Yeah, you're gonna go, but it's a metaphor
bizarre.
For self-destruction. I think was the character.
Absolutely.
I think so. Anyway,
well, it's like again without like the war lover again self-destructs and sort of plays the hero at his own peril. Yeah, it's the same thing. Obviously, Don Siegel has got a huge back catalogue of excellent films. He came into
everything he does is good.
He came into this off the back of Flaming Star.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't know.
It is one of two genuinely dramatic films Elvis starred in.
Oh, right.
And it's a Western.
Okay.
And it's, other than singing the theme tune, which is actually kind of, it's not out of place for the film.
For Elvis,
he actually plays a dramatic role quite well in a bit of a naff film.
I've seen a lot of Elvis movies.
He'd followed this, so obviously he did this, and he would follow it up 2 years later with The Killers, which is quite a significant step forward.
I love it.
And I don't think he ever really looked back. That was obviously the start of him finding his groove before he'd do Dirty Harry and Charlie Varick, etc.
Well, he got the Siegel look, didn't he? You can see
The Killers is the start of that, without a doubt.
You can see that blueprint on movies, and you could guess the director before it pops up at the start. When you start seeing films like that, and you think, this has got to be a Don Siegel movie.
But this is obviously just before that time.
Yeah, so he's carving it
and
out.
And it's almost a shame
it's still gritty, though. I mean,
it's got the grit.
The last third of it is a Don Siegel movie.
Yeah, it is, without
I think
a doubt.
In essence, the first part
which is by far enough. From the moment other than the telephone thing, which is just awful, almost from the moment they lay the wires, the telecom wires. I mean, that's a gritty process when they crawl out into the field.
Yeah,
and they
and
lay
when
the
he
wires.
decides to go and take the bunker. Yeah, and he makes that decision.
Yeah,
and you think, this isn't going to go well.
And
no,
and it really the whole last sequence really ramps up,
don't they? I mean,
it's a real bloodbath.
It is. Yeah,
because
that's probably why they did it in black and white.
I don't know who the first to go is. Maybe Bobby Darin. Does he get shot when he's got the flamethrower on?
Yeah, and then all the stars start getting killed, and they're
quickly as well.
Yeah, they're genuinely shocked by the guys who get shot as it progresses through. It doesn't pull any punches. Nobody's safe, and for that reason, inevitably McQueen is going to go in a blaze of glory, quite literally, or blaze of napalm
again. Yeah, for what it does badly, which is those weird comedy insertions, which basically feel like scenes that were written as comedy scenes and then trying to turn.
Them in for a bit of light relief, something.
I don't know.
It's massively intense in parts.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, but the whole idea of the six men looking at the German front, and knowing they're there, but not knowing how many and not knowing what they know about them is really good. It's really well done, because we just, how many times we see over the sort of battlefield and we just see a bit of smoke.
Yeah,
but you can't really see anything.
Yeah. It's all from you're living it.
Yeah,
with
we
them.
get no German
you're in
perspective.
The foxhole. You're going into the night time, and then when they're crawling through the minefield,
that's really well done.
Which I thought the minefield
bit's
good,
brilliant. Yeah,
because you think somebody and everyone they just touch with their hand.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, who's the guy who's going to not touch it and roll onto it? And of course, it's James Coburn, isn't it? I think, and he blows himself up, and he happens to have. I think he has the flamethrower. I know he's got some explosives with him.
He's got some explosives with him.
He's gone back to get some M40 or something.
Yeah, he's gone back to get the explosives to blow up the bunker.
And he's got them, and he rolls onto a mine, and then he goes up like an enormous explosion. But again, if you're going to have some major stars in it, you've got to blow them up properly, haven't you? So that's fair enough. So a few more notes I've got here. What have we got? McQueen was furious with his agent for having induced him into sign onto a film and not securing an upfront fee. And you can tell he's angry.
Yeah, you can.
Because almost every scene, I've written here something along the lines of, he looks like he, what did I put here?
From the get-go as well.
Solid dark. McQueen, angry, hardened, remote, detached, prickly, very much seems that he does not want to be there, i.e. on the battlefield, or in the movie, question mark. Because he looks like he just doesn't want to be there.
From the very first frame he appears, when he gets dropped out the Jeep and walks in.
It was the Polish guy he tries to be his friend.
See, again,
did it need that?
That whole character is so strange.
Although it does make McQueen look, or Reese rather.
It feeds into his character.
It does really make him into
it does.
Because you got sort of a remote.
Because again, it's that.
Don't talk to me kind of
it's
guy.
It's that comedy
thing. I'm going to blow your head off if you're on the line. Well, surely just add him to the numbers. He wants to go and shoot Germans. That's fair enough.
Exactly.
If you turn up, I'm killing you. But that's dark.
But that whole, the little barrack they walk into, it's got like Hitler's head as a dartboard.
Oh, it's a toilet seat.
There's a toilet seat, and then the bloke that's stolen all the silver.
Oh,
it's comedy stuff.
It is.
And then McQueen walks in. Yeah. and looks like he wants to burn the whole place down.
He's tearing his gun down, isn't he?
That's right.
And he really, if you went over to him, he'd just punch you out or shoot you or both. And you feel it was justifiable.
It's like he turned up for the wrong film.
He really looked like he was so fed up he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
In fact, I was.
Ironically,
he almost over-egged it a bit. Yeah, he was almost too unpleasant. They describe him in the notes as psychopathic.
Yeah, it's too far away from the rest of the cast.
Yeah, it's like he wants to kill people.
Yeah, it's a great performance, but it makes the other performances look way too hammed up.
Yeah, if they'd done a study of him, psychologically through the film and not had all the comedy break. I mean, it would have been a hard watch.
Yeah.
But I get the feeling
it would have been a stronger
film. If you'd just followed him through.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But a bit like when they did. What's the modern one when they did? Is it 1914 or something? Where they follow two guys.
1917.
1917. Yeah, and they follow through and they see their perspective of it, warts and all, and the misery.
It would be a far better film.
And the fact that he's not up much at all. He's mostly down, but from his perspective, if they did it through his eyes, which they did a little bit, but the comedy interlude dilutes it too much. It's the wrong mix, isn't it? It could have been an incredibly tough.
It's the sort of film that would benefit from a remake.
War movie. Yeah, do you know? Yeah,
and probably not now, but maybe in like the 80s or 90s.
Interesting to see what we throw up as our comparisons, because I was watching it thinking, what does this remind me of? And bits of it remind me of some movies, and bits of it remind me of others. And I'm thinking, but not for the good, unfortunately. Yeah. So what have we got here? I mean, general cast overview.
It's a real mixed bag.
Solid dark film. McQueen. Yeah. Did he want to be there? I don't know.
Actually, I quite like. I got to say. I didn't really like anyone other than Coburn and McQueen, other than Fess Parker, who played Bill Pike. I thought was really good, actually.
Yeah,
he felt like a sergeant.
He looked the part.
He really looked the part.
He was totally believable.
He sort of had that little bit more sophistication, a sort of man that would have been an officer.
Yeah,
a step up from Coburn and McQueen, and how he's presented, a little bit older. Yeah, sort of felt like he'd done it a bit more.
The way he dealt with the men as well.
The way he dealt with them, really really good.
Yeah,
he was very much the unsung strong performance that
one
glued
for
it
the
together a
road
little
sort
bit.
of thing, rather than let's just come in me. It's like okay, let's play this out.
Yeah,
play the hand, as it were.
Yeah,
Let's play the
absolutely.
hand. Yeah. So I think we probably agreed that McQueen, pretty much as he tends to do, stole the show. But then we have a soft spot for McQueen, so we both like him. So we're always going to be a little bit pro that, aren't we? I, like you say, what I really liked was the idea of the fact that there was only a handful of men left, and the Germans didn't know there was only 6 of them, and they were trying to work out how to make 6 men look like a battalion.
I think that's the frustrating part about that, is that it's such a shame we didn't get 6 really strong characters, likeable characters.
A bit like a Dirty Dozen.
A bit like a Dirty Dozen.
Dirty half dozen, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you're right. They could have almost made the whole film. I mean, I know arguably they did. But, well, actually, the first bit, you could have just lost that. I mean,
you could have
get to know the guys, but
you could get to know them on the front.
If that had been a Vietnam film, something like, what did I watch the other day? What's the Oliver Stone? Platoon.
Yeah.
Right now, that's not a comedy, but you get to know the guys intimately.
Yeah,
warts and all. Yeah, and then when they all get shot in a row, particularly Willem Dafoe, You genuinely feel like you've gone the distance with these guys.
Exactly, and that's where a modern filmmaker would improve this. Is the comic relief would be jokes between the soldiers, not
dark jokes,
but not Bob Newhart.
No, gallows
putting his feet up and
appropriate. Yeah, and being Bob Newhart.
Being Bob Newhart. Yeah.
You don't want the Bob Newhart show. No. In a gritty black and white Don Siegel.
No, you don't.
War movie about what is essentially a horrendous no-win situation.
No-win situation.
Let's throw a few jokes in there.
Yeah, exactly.
How's that going to work?
Yeah, mate, he could have put a one-liner after McQueen blew the bunker up.
That's there goes the name of it. It's just that it just doesn't work, does it? So it's. I did like the. I made a few notes here. I did like the innovation, like we mentioned before.
Of the Jeep.
That just made it. I mean, I like a bit like the A-Team, innit?
Yeah,
when they start building stuff.
Yeah, Goban is that guy, isn't he? He's sort of the mechanical whiz.
And they're running that. I thought, what are they doing with them lines? Yeah. And okay, they've tied a box full of rocks on it, which they quietly put in there. Yeah. And I'm thinking, so what? And I was trying to work it out, and then of course they're trying to reveal the German lines where the gun plants are, and make it look like the whole thing is 100 foot wide.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought it was really smart.
They
probably had a military advisor.
Yeah, they probably did.
Telling them,
this is what we did.
Yeah, we used to do this, and just so how do you make 6 men look like 600? Yeah. Well, this is how you do it.
Exactly,
and I appreciated that. I thought that made it good. So what have we done? We've done cast overview. I think we've done that.
Yeah.
We've covered the old major points of that, and I think we now need to go through standout performance.
I think it's McQueen, isn't it, really?
I mean, he shines, but in all the wrong ways.
Nick Adams is Homer.
Powerhouse performance. I think we're doing him an injustice there, but it was just the wrong mix for this cake, wasn't it?
Awful,
They just got it so wrong in that respect. Slow start, builds really well to an explosive ending.
The finale is genuinely excellent.
You've got to watch it all in one. If you can get through the first third,
it does improve from there.
And then just run it from there. I mean, it's such a dark ending. I mean, when he I was just looking at Steve McQueen.
The bunker goes up, and then it's just the end.
That's right. And he burns it with a flame
very much. Yeah,
and it looks like a sort of a half place with the fire burning in the background.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
And then it says the end.
Yeah, that's it.
And, well, obviously they ran out of film.
Yeah, they ran out of film.
Quick, put the end in there. Yeah, so. It's interesting movie. We've done the standout performance there, McQueen and Coburn. I think kind of steal the show. As you say, a couple of other supporting people there. What would you pair this with?
I think I would pair it with The War Lover in terms of McQueen performances, because they're so. I would watch that second, because you get this really whets your appetite for him playing that sort of psychotic character.
Yeah.
That gives you the performance we should have had here, where it's been written and fleshed out better.
Yeah.
So that would be a great McQueen pairing.
Yeah.
In terms of war films that you would that you'd pair it with, I think it works with the Dirty Dozen style, but I think I would have
the
it
comedy
with,
in the Dirty Dozen would work with it.
Yeah, it would. I think I would have it. I actually prefer it to the Dirty Dozen. I'd have it with Kelly's Heroes, Clint Eastwood,
Kelly's Heroes, yeah. I've
Donald
got that on my
Sutherland.
list, yeah.
That is
Oddball, yeah.
that is, I think, a slightly better version of the,
And the comedy
Men on a
works.
Mission. And the comedy work. It's not as you know,
Yeah.
it's not as on the nose. It's a little bit more
Yeah.
comedy amongst
Yeah.
the guys.
Yeah.
You know, the sort of I guess black comedy in a way, but
Yeah.
black comedy that's from the soldier's perspective rather than written in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I'll go with that.
Yeah. Now I've got, interestingly, what I kept thinking of, and I don't know if it was the uniforms or what it was, I've got Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, it's,
Because there's, I mean, I know it's Tom Hanks and it's a bit
but
more
it's sort of
accessible.
small
but it's,
team, isn't it?
yeah, and it's surprising. It's got some, it's got some brutal bits in it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and it's the thing about that film was it was praised by people who'd been there as being an extraordinarily visceral but realistic,
Yeah.
brings tears to your eyes
I think,
war movie, and that's what I think Siegel was trying to do. In
it's
this.
sort of the small group against the odds thing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's definitely again. I mean, that's so
Bit
far
like
ahead.
Full Metal Jacket kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get to know the troops. Warts
Yeah,
and
I
all.
think that's the thing, isn't it? Their films, and again with the Dirty Dozen and Kelly's Heroes and the various versions of those films, they do a far better job of get to know the guys.
Yeah.
Which
What else have you got on your list then?
Well, I've got the most niche one I've got, which is a really, really niche film, ironically directed by William Whitney, who
right.
obviously directed last week's movie.
Yeah,
it's a film
Arizona
called
Raiders. Yeah.
Paratroop Command,
Okay,
who's got
interesting.
pretty much nobody you've ever heard of in it.
No.
So it's like a B-grade movie, but it's really quite powerful. And again, it's a band of 6 guys that are sort of a little bit out of place, and it's them against far more Germans in a bit of a no-win situation, and it's sort of making the best of it.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's a super rare movie in terms of it won't ever be on television or anything.
No.
But it's really well executed.
Yeah.
And it's a really strong war movie. It's black and white. It has the same sort of story arc as this one,
Yeah.
where we get to know the characters and then they all sort of suffer their various miserable fates.
Yeah.
But that'd be a great double bill. It's about 70 minutes long, I think, as well. So it's between the two of them. It's not a huge.
But it's interesting you went black and white again, because I went The Longest Day, which is a long movie.
Which is a long movie.
But it is a longest movie. But again, black and white just seems to work a little bit with these war movies, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, it definitely
Things like
it adds something to the battle scenes and sort of the faces. It has to be old black and white though,
Yeah,
with
like-
the old lighting where it made the shadows so much darker.
Yeah, like
'Cause
the
it's-
D-Day stuff.
Yeah, because stuff that's that newer release black and white, they don't get that noir look right.
No, you're quite right. It needs to be a softer,
It's like if you took a
smoky bit.
like a black and white photo on your phone doesn't have the harshness of this film.
It's almost like silver tone, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think
somewhere?
it must be like the halogen lights or whatever they were using.
All the film stock.
All the
because
film
what is
stock,
it? Was
yeah.
it not 8mm, is it? But the way it transfers onto the celluloid
It's
must
like
be different to digital.
Yeah, without
you
a
know.
doubt. It's like if you watch
Digital's- Do you find when I watch films on a modern TV now, they're too crisp, it almost detracts from the realism. Because it's like that looks like a set.
Yeah.
He's acting. It looks like they put that tree there because
Yeah.
it's too real and too sharp. You need a little bit of woolly masked poor quality vision shadow play.
Yeah, you do,
almost,
yeah.
to make it more believable. A bit like the horror genre. They play. You do more with some darkness and shadows than you do with some blood and gore. Sometimes it's the stuff you don't see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that is more frightening.
Yeah, it looks too good.
Yeah, and you can do a lot with black and white if you get it right. If you get it wrong, it just looks like an art house mistake, and you're trying too hard. But yeah, it's and bits of this film looked terrific.
They really do.
If some of the colour, I don't think I'd have probably watched it.
It would not be anywhere near as appealing. Like some of the close-ups of McQueen in his foxhole just look fantastic, and like the scenes where they're crawling through the undergrowth,
and that's where it works, because you couldn't really determine what was a hand, what was a bomb.
And even the mine scene really with the prongs.
You would be looking as they were, and you got to remember that being pitch black at night, no lights, feel your way through.
I've got to say as well, on the pitch black, the night scenes they do well.
They do. They
do well, because a lot of, especially in black and white, a lot of night scenes can look like they've just turned a couple of lights off in the studio, and then someone lights a candle and the whole set lights up.
That's right. But and you can see the faces, and when they do a voice,
but they do really well with the night.
Yeah, in fact, you had a job to determine who was who in the dark, and that's how it should be, because that's what they would or wouldn't be seeing.
Yeah,
I had to look twice to realise it was James Coburn. It was only because he had glasses on.
Yeah,
that I realised Coburn was the one who was going to put his hand on the mine.
Yeah,
and yet they all look very similar, and that realism, I think, is the art of it, isn't it? If you can make it look like you're there. You buy into it.
That's your early signs of.
Doesn't look like a movie so much, does it?
No, and that's the early signs of what would go on to become a fantastic director.
Yeah,
starting to work out what he's good at.
Exactly. The cinematography, the magic, the way it looks, the camera angles, the focus on the 1,000-yard stare, troubled man. Everybody looked like they were absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, they did.
And grew absolutely worn down to the nub, and that's how it. Imagine being in that theatre. It must have been hell for heroes, even.
At least you had Bob Newhart.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
And his typewriters.
Yeah, that's right. Made my day. Brilliant.
Yeah.
There we go. So, what did you score this one then?
I scored it the same as I scored it last time I watched it, which is 3 out of 5. Again, that you could maybe substitute that with like 2.5 sort of average, but I think there's enough with the McQueen performance for me, and the ending, which I think is great, to give it a 3. I think.
Agreed. I went 7, and when I started watching it, as we've said repeatedly on this review, the first third, I'd have scored it down, because I was thinking, this isn't a McQueen movie. This isn't
it doesn't do itself
movie.
any favours,
I've seen this before. I'm a bit bored with it. There are better versions of this, but when we got into the gritty bit of the last third of it,
comes into its own,
and the story started to develop, and it was them against the impossible odds, and you knew it was going to end badly. And quite frankly, I prefer. I mean, war movies aren't all happy endings, and you knew the characters were flawed, the story was flawed. They were never going to make it.
No.
I expected them to blow the whole lot up, actually, and all get wiped out, because it had that feel.
I'll tell you what, just on that, something you could pair it with, which would be a nice pair, would be Zulu.
Oh yeah, I get it.
The sign of that's the
overwhelming odds.
Yeah,
but there's a few movies like that.
A selection of characters you grow to know. Again, don't necessarily grow to love them, as you don't here, but
you understand. You empathise with the position they're in.
Exactly.
It's like us against 50,000 Zulus, and you're thinking, how are you going to get? You're just going to get wiped out.
It doesn't do itself any favours, like you said. It really turns you off in the first 25 minutes. Yeah, and it has to work a lot to claw back your interest, and I think it does. But it's always difficult to come back from such a disjointed start.
Yeah. And he did well to recover it.
Yeah, he did.
Because almost a light switch moment in the film, isn't there, where it goes from. I wonder if they'd watched some of the rushes and realised, actually, this is getting a bit silly.
This is naff. Yeah.
It's getting a bit
got
daft.
to sort of crank it up a bit.
Yeah, either that, we'll put all that in the. Or maybe it was deliberate. We'll put all that light-hearted stuff in the front to make it look like a buddy army movie, and then we'll bring in the dark stuff and blow everyone up, and make it pretty brutal at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
And it really it's uncompromising at the end.
It's
not often you see McQueen.
No, explode himself in a
get shot, explosion, and then burnt by a flamethrower. Within 10 seconds.
Yeah,
the end.
Yeah, it's a film that I'd sort of want to enjoy more. The idea of it is fantastic.
Yeah,
and the execution is just not.
I think you nailed it early on in this review. It's ripe for a remake.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's the perfect film to be done properly.
Yeah,
Private Ryan was, right lines, but get the right guys, get the right director.
Yeah,
even film it in black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
or elements of it. You could be a bit smart, But I think this whole story, unless it has been done and we've just missed it under the radar.
Well, maybe.
I think it's ready for someone to step in. I know war movies are a bit out of focus at the moment, but it's ready for somebody to step in and make a proper job of it.
Yeah,
without
I totally agree. I totally agree. Well, there we go. So that wraps up Hell is for Heroes. Again, a bit of a step up in terms of the production values, but
the cast,
and the cast, of course. It's certainly what they would go on to do. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a bit of a case of what could have been. So that's another episode down.
Absolutely.
And
watch it and see what you think.
Watch it and see what you think. Yeah, and obviously join us next week when we'll do another film.
Excellent.